I'm here to help you fall asleep tonight. Before we begin, take a moment to tell me, where are you listening from? And what time is it there right now? Now get cozy and let your shoulders drop. The first thing you notice is the sound, not the sudden crack of thunder that makes your heart race, or the harsh drumming of a violent downpour that pounds against windows and rooftops with urgent intensity, but something infinitely gentler. The soft whisper of rain beginning to find the leaves above your tent. It starts as the faintest rustling, like someone turning pages in a distant room, the sound so delicate that you might almost imagine it if you weren't listening so carefully. Then gradually, almost imperceptibly, it becomes more present, more real, more undeniably there as individual droplets begin their long journey from cloud to canopy to the forest floor far below. Each drop that falls has traveled an incredible distance to reach this moment. They began their journey as invisible vapor rising from distant oceans, carried by winds across continents, condensing in the cool upper atmosphere into the clouds that now hover overhead like gentle gray blankets. Some of these drops have circulated through the water cycle for millions of years, having been part of ancient seas, prehistoric rains, the blood of dinosaurs, the sap of trees that stood when the world was young. Now they fall here, in this forest, at this moment, creating this perfect symphony that will accompany your rest. You're lying in your sleeping bag, warm and dry, and completely comfortable, listening to this ancient symphony beginning its evening performance. The tent around you feels like a cocoon, a small bubble of safety and comfort nestled among the towering pines and ancient oaks that have called this forest home for decades, perhaps centuries. These trees are living monuments to patience and endurance, having weathered countless storms, droughts, seasons of abundance, and seasons of scarcity. Their massive trunks speak of years beyond counting, rings of growth marking time in a way that human clocks and calendars cannot capture. The fabric walls of your tent curve gently overhead, creating an intimate space that feels both enclosed and somehow intimately connected to the vast wilderness beyond. The tent's dome shape is both practical and pleasing, the curved walls creating a sense of spaciousness within the confined area while efficiently shedding rain and wind. The engineering is elegant in its simplicity. Lightweight materials and careful design, creating a shelter that feels as solid and secure as a permanent structure while remaining something you can carry on your back. Your head rests on a pillow that carries the complex fragrance of this journey from civilization into wilderness. There's the familiar scent of your own laundry detergent, that clean, comforting smell that speaks of home and routine and the safe spaces where you rest each night. But now that domestic fragrance is married to something wilder, the clean, earthy perfume that seems to permeate everything in the woods after just a few hours of exposure. It's the smell of moss that has never known pollution, of fallen leaves that will return to soil through processes unchanged for millions of years, of tree bark that has been dampened by moisture carried on air, so clean, it almost tastes green when you breathe it in slowly through your nose. The pillow itself has compressed to exactly the right firmness beneath your head, the synthetic fill redistributing itself to create a perfect cradle for your skull and neck. The fabric of the pillowcase is soft against your cheek, worn smooth by countless washings until it feels like silk against your skin. This simple object connects you to the familiar comforts of home while supporting you in this wild place, bridging the gap between the domestic and the natural, between security and adventure. The rain is finding its rhythm now, settling into the steady pattern that speaks of hours of gentle precipitation ahead. What began as tentative drops, uncertain explorers testing the air and the surfaces below, has evolved into a confident, consistent percussion against the tense rainfly. Each droplet creates its own tiny note in the larger composition that's building around you. Some drops strike the taut fabric directly overhead with a soft pat pat pat. The sound clear and immediate, transmitted through the tense structure to your ears with perfect clarity. Others slide down the sloped sides of the rainfly with a gentle zipping sound that reminds you of silk scarves being drawn across polished wood, or water finding its path down a window pane on a quiet afternoon. The rainfly itself is a marvel of modern outdoor engineering, a second skin stretched above your inner tent that creates a crucial air gap between you and the weather. This double wall system ensures that you remain perfectly dry while allowing the rain's music to reach you with full fidelity. The fly is tensioned just so, creating a perfect drum head that transforms each raindrop into music, while its waterproof coating ensures that none of that moisture makes its way through to disturb your comfort. You shift slightly in your sleeping bag, a minor adjustment that brings perfect alignment to your spine and shoulders, and the sound of the synthetic fabric rustling joins the forest's evening chorus. It's a soft whisper that speaks of technical innovation in service of comfort. Materials that insulate without weight, that compress for travel but expand for warmth, that wick moisture while maintaining their thermal properties. The bag is perfectly warm, not too hot, which would leave you restless and uncomfortable, not too cool, which would keep your body working to maintain temperature, but maintaining that ideal thermal environment where your body can simply exist without effort, without the need to adjust or accommodate. The sleeping bag's temperature rating has proven exactly correct for these conditions. The insulation, carefully distributed to match your body's heat production and loss patterns, creates zones of warmth that perfectly complement your physiology. More insulation around your core, where your body produces the most heat and where warmth is most critical. Less around areas that tend to overheat, allowing excess warmth to dissipate before it can cause discomfort. The result is a sleeping system that maintains perfect comfort regardless of your position or the outside temperature. Your feet are cozy at the bottom of the bag, surrounded by the soft insulation that has warmed to your body temperature and created a perfect pocket of comfort. The foot box is sized to allow natural positioning while maintaining thermal efficiency, preventing the claustrophobic feeling that can come from overly confining sleep systems. Your shoulders relax against the pillow, the muscles releasing the day's tensions as the sleeping bag's warmth penetrates deep into your tissues, improving circulation and promoting the kind of deep relaxation that precedes restorative sleep. Your arms rest comfortably by your sides, hands lying open and relaxed against the smooth lining of the sleeping bag. The lining fabric has been chosen for its skin-friendly properties. Soft, non-irritating, moisture-wicking to prevent any clammy feeling that might disturb your rest. Your fingers are slightly curled in the natural posture of complete relaxation, the gesture of hands that have no need to grasp or hold or work, hands that can simply rest and be still. Through the mesh window of your tent, you can see the darkening forest, though the details are becoming increasingly soft and indistinct as the day fades into evening. The mesh itself is a marvel of engineering. Openings large enough to allow excellent airflow and visibility, small enough to keep even the tiniest insects at bay. The no-see netting creates a barrier that's practically invisible when you're looking through it, allowing you to feel connected to the outside world while remaining protected from its less comfortable elements. The trees stand like gentle giants in the gathering dusk, their massive trunks disappearing into shadows while their highest branches still catch the last whispers of daylight filtering through the rain clouds above. Each tree tells its own story, the straight, tall pines with their characteristic bark patterns that speak of steady, patient growth, the broader oaks with their sturdy, spreading branches that have provided shelter and sustenance for countless generations of forest creatures. The smaller understory trees that fill the spaces between the giants, creating the complex, layered ecosystem that makes this forest so alive and vibrant. The rain has brought an early evening to the woods, the clouds filtering and softening what daylight remains, creating a gentle, gray twilight that feels like being wrapped in the softest cashmere blanket. This premature dusk has a quality all its own. Not the harsh darkness of a storm, but the gentle dimming that speaks of nature settling into rest. The light that remains is diffused and peaceful, free from glare or harshness, perfect for the quiet contemplation that comes with approaching sleep. The mesh screen keeps the insects out while allowing the fresh forest air to flow freely into your shelter, carrying with it all the rich scents and subtle sounds of the wilderness settling into night. The air movement is subtle but constant, preventing any sense of stuffiness while maintaining the tent's internal climate. It's a perfect balance, protection without isolation, security without separation from the natural world that surrounds and embraces your small sanctuary. A drop of water slides down a pine needle somewhere nearby, following the needle's length until it reaches the tip, where it gathers itself into a perfect sphere before releasing its hold on the tree. You hear it land with the tiniest plop on a leaf below, a sound so delicate it's almost musical, like a single note played on the smallest possible instrument. The acoustics of the forest amplify these tiny sounds, the natural amphitheater created by the trees and the rain-dampened air, carrying even the most delicate noises to your ears with perfect clarity. Then another drop follows the same path, and another, each one creating its own small contribution to the forest's evening symphony. Some drops are larger, some smaller, each creating its own unique tone when it lands. The variations are infinite, drops that land on different types of leaves, on different textures of bark, on the soft forest floor carpeted with years of fallen needles and decomposing organic matter. Each surface produces its own characteristic sound, and together they create a natural percussion ensemble of breathtaking complexity and perfect harmony. The forest is waking up to the rain in its own quiet way, each plant and tree accepting the moisture with a kind of grateful silence that you can almost feel in your chest. There's something deeply satisfying about being witness to this quiet celebration, this gentle communion between sky and earth that has been taking place for millions of years, long before humans walked the earth, and will continue long after we're gone. You're privileged to observe this ancient ritual, this essential exchange that keeps the world green and growing and alive. The sound of individual drops hitting different surfaces creates a complex percussion that reveals new layers the longer you listen. Some drops land on broad leaves with soft taps that sound like tiny hands applauding. Others strike bare branches with tiny clicks that ring like miniature wind chimes. Still others disappear into the soft forest floor with barely a whisper, absorbed immediately by the thick carpet of organic matter that has been accumulating for decades, perhaps centuries. Each surface in the forest produces its own unique acoustic signature when touched by rain. The smooth bark of a birch tree creates one sound, the rough bark of an old oak another. Fresh green leaves sound different from older, more seasoned foliage. Fallen logs produce yet another tone, their weathered surfaces having been softened by time and weather into something that accepts the rain with muffled gratitude. Together, these countless individual voices create a symphony of infinite complexity and perfect harmony. Your breathing begins to match the rhythm of the rainfall, an unconscious synchronization that feels as natural as the tide following the moon or flowers turning toward the sun. And with the soft patter on the tent roof, your lungs expanding to draw in the clean forest air. Out with the whisper of droplets sliding down through the branches, your breath releasing any tension or worry that might remain from the day's activities. Your chest rises and falls in a steady cadence that seems to harmonize with the natural world around you. Your respiratory system finding its perfect pace, without any conscious effort or control. Each breath brings in the cool, rain-washed air that somehow finds its way into your small shelter, carrying with it the very essence of the forest. It's air that has been filtered through miles of pristine wilderness, cleansed by its passage through countless leaves and needles, enriched by its contact with soil and stone and growing things. There's that deep, loamy scent of earth preparing to drink, the rich fragrance of soil that has never known chemicals or pollution. There's the green smell of chlorophyll and photosynthesis, the living scent of plants actively converting sunlight and carbon dioxide into the oxygen you breathe. The air carries the clean fragrance of moisture that has traveled through countless miles of wilderness without touching pollution or contamination. It's air that tastes different from what you breathe in the city. Thicker somehow, more substantial, as if it carries more life, more oxygen, more of the invisible substances that nourish both body and soul. Each inhalation is satisfying in a way that goes beyond the simple exchange of gases, feeding something deeper that craves contact with the natural world. The temperature inside the tent is perfect, a delicate balance that your body registers as pure comfort without conscious thought. The rain has cooled the air just enough to make your warm sleeping bag feel like an embrace from someone who knows exactly what you need. You can sense the gentle coolness against your face, the only part of you exposed to the air, while the rest of your body remains enveloped in soft, consistent warmth. It's the kind of temperature contrast that makes you want to snuggle deeper into your cocoon, to appreciate the comfort even more fully, to revel in the perfect balance between cool air and warm shelter. The tent's design creates perfect ventilation through a carefully engineered system of air movement. Fresh air flows in through the mesh panels at the tent's base, rises as it warms, and exits through vents at the peak, creating a gentle but constant circulation that prevents any sense of stuffiness while maintaining the ideal microclimate inside your shelter. The rainfly prevents any moisture from entering while allowing this crucial air exchange to continue unimpeded. Somewhere in the distance, beyond the immediate circle of trees that surround your campsite, you hear the rain finding a small creek, the water gathering in the natural channels carved by countless previous storms and seasons of snowmelt. The creek's voice is gentle tonight, not the rushing torrent that spring melts or violent summer storms might create, but a quiet gurgling that speaks of raindrops gathering, forming tiny rivulets, joining together to create something larger than themselves. The sound is faint but persistent, like a lullaby being hummed in another room, barely audible but somehow essential to the evening's peace. You can picture the water moving over smooth stones that have been worn round by years of patient erosion, around fallen logs that create tiny dams and pools where forest creatures come to drink, over small ledges that form miniature waterfalls no bigger than your hand. The creek represents the forest's circulatory system, carrying nutrients and life throughout the ecosystem, connecting distant parts of the forest through the simple act of water following gravity toward the sea. The creek's voice adds another layer to the forest's song, a deeper note that grounds all the higher sounds of rain on leaves and fabric. It speaks of permanence and change simultaneously. The water constantly moving and changing, but the creek bed itself carved by countless years of that same movement, creating a permanent feature that serves the forest's needs generation after generation. A light breeze moves through the forest, and you can hear it approaching long before you feel its gentle touch on the tent walls. The wind announces itself with a soft susurrus in the pine needles, a whisper that grows as it approaches and then fades as it passes on to wake other parts of the forest. It's a sound that speaks of vast spaces and free movement, of air that has traveled over miles of wilderness without encountering the obstacles and interruptions that mark human habitation. The fabric of your tent responds to the breeze with a soft billowing, like a sail catching wind, but gentle and contained, never violent or concerning. The tent's aerodynamic design allows the wind to flow around it smoothly, creating no harsh flapping or violent movement, just a gentle breathing motion that seems to match the forest's own rhythms. The engineering that went into the tent's shape ensures that it works with the wind rather than against it, bending but not breaking, yielding but not failing. The breeze carries new scents with each gust, a constantly changing bouquet of forest fragrances that tells the story of the woods around you. Sometimes it brings the green smell of leaves being washed clean by the rain, each drop removing dust and pollution and restoring the leaves to their natural brilliance. Sometimes it carries the earthy aroma of soil receiving its evening drink, the rich smell of organic matter being awakened by moisture into renewed growth and decomposition. Other times the wind brings the clean scent of air that has traveled far and picked up the essence of wild places. Perhaps the sweet fragrance of night-blooming flowers opening their petals to catch the rain. Perhaps the rich smell of decomposing leaves that will become next year's soil. Perhaps the fresh scent of rain-washed stone from some distant outcropping where ancient rocks meet the sky. Your muscles begin to release the day's tensions, letting go of the small knots and tight spots that accumulate during waking hours like sediment settling in still water. Your shoulders sink a little deeper into the pillow, the tight spots between your shoulder blades softening as the sleeping bag's warmth penetrates your muscles like a gentle, therapeutic massage. The heat seems to have healing properties, dissolving tension not just from today, but from days and weeks of accumulated stress, unknotting muscles that you didn't even realize were tight. The warmth works its way through the layers of muscle and fascia, reaching deep into tissues that rarely get the chance to fully relax during the busy hours of daily life. Your trapezius muscles, which carry so much of the day's stress, begin to lengthen and soften. The small muscles around your spine, which work constantly to maintain posture and balance, finally get permission to rest. Even the tiny muscles around your eyes, which strain all day to focus and track and interpret visual information, begin to release their grip on alertness. Your arms grow heavy and still by your sides, hands uncurling from the loose fists they unconsciously formed during the day's activities. Your fingers spread slightly in the natural posture of complete relaxation, no longer ready to grasp or manipulate or work, but simply resting in openness and trust. The weight of your arms becomes noticeable as they settle into the sleeping bag's soft insulation, supported completely by the system of fabrics and fill that cradles your entire body. Your legs stretch out comfortably in the sleeping bag's spacious interior, finding their natural position without any conscious thought or adjustment. Your thigh muscles, which work so hard during the day to carry you from place to place, begin to soften and lengthen. Your calves, tight from walking and standing, release their tension and settle into stillness. Your feet point slightly outward in the relaxed posture of deep rest, no longer needing to balance or support or propel, but simply existing in perfect comfort. The forest's tranquility is seeping into your body through every sense, muscle by muscle, breath by breath, cell by cell. It's as if the peace of this ancient place is contagious, spreading through your nervous system like a gentle infection of calm, replacing tension with ease, stress with serenity, worry with contentment. The forest's accumulated wisdom, its deep understanding of how to rest and be still, becomes your wisdom, your understanding, your gift for this night. The rain continues its gentle work overhead, each drop following its own unique path from cloud to earth in a journey that seems both random and perfectly choreographed. You can visualize each droplet beginning its journey high above the forest canopy, condensing in the cool upper atmosphere, gathering weight and purpose before beginning its fall through layers of leaves and branches. Some drops make it all the way to the forest floor without interruption, striking the soft carpet of organic matter with the gentlest impact. Others are caught and held by the intricate network of pine needles and broad leaves that create the roof of this woodland world, pausing in their journey to nourish the very plants that intercept them. Each drop that strikes your tent has traveled this unique path, gathering stories from the clouds above, the leaves it touched, the air it moved through. There's something beautiful about providing a temporary stopping point in its journey, about being part of this ancient cycle of water moving from sky to earth to sea and back again. The raindrops that hit your tent will eventually find their way to the ground, perhaps pooling briefly in the tent's drip line before soaking into the soil, joining the groundwater that feeds the roots of these ancient trees, becoming part of the forest's lifeblood. This cycle connects you to something vast and eternal, something that has been going on since the Earth first had oceans and atmosphere and weather. The water falling on your tent tonight has been part of clouds and rain and snow for millions of years, has nourished countless forests, has sustained life in forms beyond imagination. Tonight, it plays its small part in creating the perfect conditions for your rest, adding its voice to the symphony that will carry you into sleep. The sound of the rain creates layers within layers, a complex acoustic environment that reveals new details the longer you listen with increasing attention and awareness. There's the immediate percussion against your tent, sharp and clear and rhythmic, providing the steady beat that anchors all the other sounds. But beneath that primary rhythm, you can hear the softer sounds of rain meeting leaves. Some drops hitting with tiny taps that sound like fairy footsteps, others sliding off smooth surfaces with gentle whispers that speak of water finding its natural path toward the earth. You can hear rain gathering in the small depressions of bark, filling the tiny reservoirs that insects and small creatures depend upon for their survival. These natural cisterns, carved by time and weather into the living wood, serve as watering holes for the forest's smallest inhabitants. You can hear rain beginning to collect in the forest's natural basins, the hollow formed by the intersection of root and trunk, the depression created by a fallen log that has begun its slow return to soil. The natural bowl formed by overlapping leaves that creates a temporary pool before releasing its contents to the earth below. It's like listening to an orchestra where every instrument is water, but water in different forms and different contexts, creating different tones and textures and rhythms. The high, bright notes of drops hitting taut fabric blend with the deeper, mellower sounds of water soaking into earth and wood. The sharp percussion of drops hitting stone mixes with the soft whispers of water disappearing into moss and organic matter. Together, they create a symphony of infinite complexity and perfect harmony, a musical composition that has been performed in forests around the world for millions of years. Your eyelids are growing heavy, the small muscles that control them relaxing into the gentle fatigue that precedes sleep. The combination of the warm sleeping bag, the gentle rain, and the soft dimness inside the tent creates a natural drowsiness that feels as organic as the forest around you, as inevitable as the setting sun or the changing seasons. You don't fight this peaceful tiredness. Instead, you welcome it the way the forest welcomes the rain, with openness and gratitude, recognizing it as a gift rather than an inconvenience. Your eyes feel warm and relaxed, the small muscles that control focus and movement settling into stillness after a day of constant micro-adjustments and corrections. The muscles that control the shape of your lens, allowing you to focus on objects near and far, finally get permission to stop working. The muscles that move your eyes to track movement and scan your environment can finally be still. Even the muscles that control your eyelids, which blink thousands of times each day without conscious thought, begin to slow their rhythm as sleep approaches. Your vision softens as you gaze through the mesh window at the darkening woods, the sharp edges of daytime sight dissolving into the gentle impressions of approaching night. Colors fade into shades of gray and black, details blur into impressions, and the visual world becomes less demanding of your attention and processing power. Even the act of blinking becomes slower, more deliberate, each closure of your eyelids lasting a fraction longer than during the active hours of the day, preparing for the longer closure that will come with sleep. The air inside the tent has become perfectly still and comfortable, reaching that ideal balance of freshness and warmth that makes breathing a pleasure rather than a necessity. Your exhaled breath creates the tiniest changes in humidity and temperature, but the tent's carefully engineered ventilation system keeps everything balanced and fresh, preventing any sense of stuffiness or staleness that might disturb your comfort. The air circulation is so subtle you're not consciously aware of it, but it works constantly to maintain the perfect atmospheric conditions for rest. Each inhalation brings in the rain-cleansed air, and each exhalation releases any lingering stress or worry from the day, any tension or anxiety that might interfere with your body's natural transition towards sleep. The rhythm becomes automatic, as natural as the rain itself, your body finding its perfect respiratory pace without any conscious control or effort. The breathing that sustains your life becomes part of the forest's larger rhythm, part of the give and take between plant and animal, oxygen and carbon dioxide, that keeps the whole ecosystem alive and thriving. The oxygen content feels higher here in the forest, cleaner and more pure than city air, each breath nourishing your body and calming your mind, supporting the gentle transition from active wakefulness to peaceful rest. The air carries negative ions created by the moving water and the friction of wind through trees, ions that have been shown to promote feelings of well-being and relaxation. It's air that has been filtered through miles of pristine wilderness, cleansed by its passage through countless leaves and needles, enriched by its contact with soil and stone and growing things. Through the gentle haze of approaching sleep, you're aware of how safe and protected you feel in this small shelter, how perfectly it serves your needs while connecting you to the natural world beyond its walls. The tent walls may be thin, made of nothing more than high-tech fabric and careful engineering, but they create a perfect boundary between you and the elements. You're close enough to the forest to feel part of it, to hear every nuance of the rain's song, to smell every subtle fragrance carried on the night breeze, but sheltered enough to be completely comfortable and dry and warm. It's an ideal balance, like being inside nature while being gently held apart from its wilder aspects. The tent's presence is reassuring without being intrusive, offering protection without isolation, security without separation from the natural world that surrounds and embraces your small sanctuary. The shelter becomes transparent in the way that perfect tools do, so well designed and well suited to its purpose that it disappears from consciousness, allowing you to focus on the experience it makes possible rather than the technology that enables it. A few drops of rain have found their way to the very edge of your tent's rain fly, following the fabric's weave to the lowest point where gravity finally overcomes surface tension. You can hear them gathering there, growing larger as more droplets join them, combining their individual weights until they become too heavy to hold on and drop to the ground with tiny, musical plops. Each drop creates a small percussion note in the forest's evening symphony, adding to the complex but soothing soundscape that surrounds your little shelter like an acoustic blanket. The sound is irregular but peaceful, like a natural wind chime activated by the rain's gentle touch. Sometimes several drops will fall in quick succession, creating a brief cascade of tiny notes that rises and falls like natural music. Sometimes a single large drop will fall alone, its sound clear and distinct against the background rhythm of rain on fabric and leaves. Sometimes the drops will gather silently for long moments before releasing all at once in a soft rush of sound that adds a brief crescendo to the rain's gentle symphony. This dripping from the tent's edge serves a practical purpose as well, creating a drip line that carries water away from the tent's base, ensuring that your shelter remains dry and comfortable throughout the night. But its acoustic contribution is equally valuable, adding another layer to the complex soundscape that will accompany your sleep, another voice in the choir of natural sounds that makes this forest such a perfect place for rest and renewal. The darkness is deepening around your tent with the gradual inevitability of natural cycles, but it's a soft darkness, the kind that invites rest rather than creating any sense of unease or concern. The gray twilight that followed the rain clouds is giving way to the deeper grays and soft blacks of a rainy night in the forest, each shade blending seamlessly into the next without harsh transitions or sudden changes. There are no harsh edges to this darkness, no sudden shadows or threatening shapes that might disturb your peace or trigger any primitive fears. Everything melts together in gentle gradations of gray and black, like looking at the world through soft gauze or watching a watercolor painting as the pigments blend and flow. The rain seems to soften even the darkness itself, creating a gentle, welcoming night that embraces rather than conceals, that invites rest rather than inspiring fear or vigilance. This is darkness as comfort rather than threat. Darkness as the natural prelude to sleep rather than something to be feared or fought. The transition from day to night happens so gradually in this rain-softened forest that you're barely aware of it occurring. There's no sudden moment when light becomes dark, no sharp boundary between day and night. Instead, visibility simply fades like the volume being slowly turned down on the visual world, allowing your other senses to become more prominent and more sensitive to the subtleties of sound and scent and touch that make up the forest's nighttime environment. Your body has found its perfect position in the sleeping bag, settling into the natural curves and contours that make sleep most comfortable and restorative. Without conscious adjustment, without any deliberate positioning or careful arrangement, you've naturally fallen into the posture that your body prefers for rest. It's as if the sleeping bag and pad system has been designed specifically for your unique proportions and sleeping preferences, creating a custom sleep environment that feels more comfortable than many permanent beds. Your neck is perfectly supported by the pillow, which has molded itself to the exact shape your head and neck require, creating a custom cradle that maintains proper spinal alignment while maximizing comfort. The pillow's fill has redistributed itself in response to your weight and position, creating exactly the right firmness and shape to support your cervical spine in its natural curve. This proper alignment ensures that you'll wake without any stiffness or soreness, your muscles having been able to relax completely throughout the night. Your spine maintains its natural S-curve, supported by the sleeping pad beneath you that provides just the right balance of cushioning and firmness. The pad's design distributes your weight evenly across its surface, eliminating pressure points while providing the support your back needs to maintain healthy alignment throughout the night. The pad's insulation also prevents the ground from drawing heat away from your body, maintaining the temperature differential that keeps you warm and comfortable regardless of how cool the earth becomes during the night. Your limbs are relaxed and still, your arms lying naturally at your sides in whatever position feels most comfortable, your legs straight and loose in the sleeping bag's spacious interior. There's no sense of confinement or restriction, no need to adjust your position to accommodate the limitations of your sleeping system. Instead, the bag and pad work together to support your body's natural sleeping posture while providing complete freedom of movement should you need to shift position during the night. The rain's rhythm has become part of your internal landscape now, woven into the fabric of your consciousness like a thread through cloth. You're no longer consciously listening to it, analyzing its patterns, or predicting its changes. Instead, it has become part of the background of your being, as natural and necessary as your own heartbeat, a gentle constant that tells you all is well, all is peaceful, all is exactly as it should be in this perfect moment. The sound has become as familiar as your own breathing, a gentle presence that your nervous system has accepted and synchronized with. Your brainwaves are slowing to match the rain's peaceful rhythm, your heart rate settling into harmony with the forest's gentle pulse, your entire being attuning itself to the natural world's evening song. This synchronization happens without conscious effort, your body's innate wisdom recognizing the healing power of natural rhythms and automatically adjusting to match them. A small shift in the wind brings a new wave of forest scents through the tense ventilation system, each fragrance carrying its own story and contributing to the rich olfactory tapestry of the night. The air movement is so gentle you might not notice it if you weren't paying attention, but it's constant and purposeful, ensuring that the atmosphere inside your tent remains fresh and alive with the essences of the forest around you. Tonight the air carries the smell of wet pine bark, rich and resinous, a scent that speaks of trees that have stood for decades or centuries, slowly building their substantial trunks ring by ring, season by season. Mixed with that ancient woody fragrance is the green smell of moss that's drinking deeply of the evening rain, expanding and softening as it absorbs the moisture it needs to continue its slow but vital work of breaking down rock into soil, creating the foundation that allows the larger plants to take root and thrive. There's something almost nutritious about these scents, as if breathing them in is feeding some deep part of your soul that craves connection with the natural world. The fragrances are complex and layered, revealing new notes and combinations as they mix and mingle in the air around you. Sometimes the wind emphasizes the sweetness of rain-washed flowers opening their petals to catch the moisture they need for growth and reproduction. Sometimes it carries the earthiness of dampened soil rich with organic matter, the product of countless seasons of leaves falling and decomposing and returning their nutrients to the earth. Other times the air brings the freshness of moisture that has traveled through miles of pristine forest, picking up the essences of ferns unfurling in the rain, of lichens growing on ancient bark, of small streams flowing over clean stone. Each breath is like taking a natural aromatherapy treatment, the forest's own essential oils dispersed through the air to promote relaxation, reduce stress, and prepare your body and mind for the deep, restorative sleep that awaits. The temperature has stabilized at that perfect point where your body requires no energy to maintain comfort, where the boundary between your internal warmth and the external environment dissolves into seamless ease. The sleeping bag's insulation is doing its quiet work with remarkable efficiency, keeping your body heat close while allowing just enough air circulation to prevent any stuffiness or overheating. The bag's design creates zones of warmth that perfectly match your body's needs. More insulation around your core where heat production is highest and heat loss most dangerous. Less around areas that tend to overheat, creating a custom thermal environment that maintains perfect comfort regardless of your position or the outside temperature. Your face, exposed to the cooler air flowing through the tent's ventilation system, provides the perfect contrast to the warmth that surrounds the rest of your body, making the sleeping bag's embrace feel even more luxurious and comforting. The temperature gradient is ideal: cool, fresh air for your lungs and the sensitive skin of your face, perfect warmth for your torso and limbs, creating the conditions that most perfectly promote deep, restorative sleep. This thermal balance happens automatically, without any conscious adjustment or effort on your part. Your body's natural temperature regulation system works in harmony with the sleeping bag's design to maintain the ideal thermal environment throughout the night. adjusting to your body's changing needs as you move through different stages of sleep, ensuring that temperature never becomes a factor that might disturb your rest. Sleep is approaching like the rain itself. Not suddenly or dramatically, but gradually, naturally, with the kind of gentle inevitability that feels right and good and perfectly timed. Your thoughts are becoming softer, less defined, more like gentle clouds drifting across a peaceful sky than the sharp, focused ideas that characterize waking consciousness. The sharp edges of daytime thinking are dissolving into something more fluid, more dreamlike, less concerned with logic and analysis and more open to the mysterious processes of rest and renewal. Your mind is releasing its grip on the day's concerns, letting them wash away like dust in the rain, allowing space for the peace and stillness that sleep requires. Consciousness is becoming more fluid, less focused on specific thoughts or problems, more open to the wordless wisdom of the body and the ancient rhythms of the natural world. The mental chatter that often accompanies the transition from waking to sleeping is being gently dissolved by the rain's constant, soothing presence, replaced by a deep sense of peace and belonging that comes from being perfectly aligned with the natural world. The forest around your tent has settled into its nighttime rhythm with the same graceful patience it has shown for countless seasons and centuries. The trees and plants are adjusting to the change from day to night with practiced ease, each species following its own internal clock while contributing to the larger symphony of the forest evening routine. The rain continues to fall with steady persistence, but now it's joined by other soft sounds that speak of the woods preparing for the deeper rest that comes with full darkness. You can hear the gentle creaking of tree branches as they settle into their nighttime positions, each small sound a tiny adjustment as the wood responds to the changing temperature and moisture levels that come with evening and rain. These sounds aren't random or chaotic, but part of the forest's natural breathing, its way of adjusting to the rhythms of day and night, heat and cool, dry and wet that have governed its existence for millions of years. There's the soft whisper of leaves brushing against each other in the gentle breeze, a conversation carried on without words but full of meaning nonetheless. Each tree species contributes its own voice to this rustling chorus, the broad leaves of the oaks creating one sound, the needles of the pines another, the smaller leaves of the understory plants adding their own delicate notes to the mix. Together they create a gentle susurrus that speaks of life and growth and the patient processes that keep the forest healthy and thriving. The distant murmur of water finding its way through the forest's natural channels grows slightly more prominent as more rain joins the small streams and rivulets that drain this part of the woods. The sound is still faint and peaceful, but richer now, speaking of water following the ancient paths carved by countless seasons of rain and snowmelt, carrying nutrients and sediment and life throughout the ecosystem, connecting distant parts of the forest through the simple but vital act of water following gravity toward the sea. Occasionally, you hear the soft plop of a large drop falling from a high branch, having gathered itself from smaller droplets until it became too heavy to cling to its perch. These larger drops create their own distinct sound when they land, different from the steady patter of the ongoing rain, adding syncopated notes to the forest rhythm like a natural jazz ensemble improvising around a steady beat. Sometimes there's the gentle rustle of some small creature moving through the underbrush, going about its nocturnal business with the quiet efficiency that characterizes forest life. These sounds don't disturb the peace, but rather enhance it, reminding you that you're part of a living system, connected to a larger community of creatures all finding their own ways to thrive in this beautiful place. The sounds are brief and discreet, speaking of animals that have learned to move quietly through their environment, to take what they need without waste or excess. Each sound adds its voice to the forest lullaby without overwhelming or competing with the others, creating a symphony of natural sounds that promotes rather than prevents sleep. The acoustic environment is complex but never chaotic, varied but never jarring, alive but never overwhelming. It's the sound of a healthy ecosystem going about its essential business, the audio signature of a place where all the parts work together in harmony and balance. Your breathing has become so natural, so effortless, that you're barely aware of it anymore, yet it continues with perfect rhythm and depth. The air moves in and out of your lungs in a cadence that matches the rain's gentle persistence, your respiratory system finding its perfect pace and maintaining it without conscious control or effort. Each breath seems to take you deeper into relaxation, deeper into the forest's embrace, deeper into the perfect comfort of this moment suspended between day and night, between waking and sleeping. Your diaphragm moves smoothly and easily, drawing air deep into your lungs without strain or effort. Your chest rises and falls in the gentle rhythm of complete relaxation, no longer driven by the slight anxiety or tension that often characterizes daytime breathing. Your entire respiratory system is working in perfect harmony with the peaceful environment around you, drawing in the forest's gifts with each inhalation, releasing any remaining tension or worry with each exhalation. The air tastes different here in the forest. Cleaner, purer, more alive somehow, as if it carries healing properties that nourish not just your lungs, but your entire being. Each breath brings oxygen that has been enriched by its passage through millions of leaves, air that has been filtered and purified by its journey through miles of pristine wilderness. The exchange of gases that keeps you alive becomes something more than mere physiology. It becomes a communion with the living world around you, a constant reminder that you are part of something larger and more beautiful than yourself. The tent fabric above you continues to catch and release small pockets of rain, creating an ever-changing pattern of sound that adds complexity and interest to the evening's natural music. Sometimes a cluster of drops will slide down together, creating a gentle zipper sound as they trace paths along the rainfly's surface. Their combined weight creating small rivulets that flow toward the tent's edges where they join the drip line that carries water away from your shelter. Sometimes individual drops will strike and bounce, making tiny drumbeats that resonate through the taut fabric before being absorbed into the night symphony. The fabric acts as a natural amplifier, transmitting the sound of each impact with perfect clarity while maintaining its weatherproof seal. Sometimes the rain will gather and hold for a moment, building tension like a musician preparing to play an important note, before letting go all at once in a soft cascade that creates a brief rush of sound, like a small waterfall emptying into a quiet pool. Each variation adds to the complexity of the rain's song without ever becoming jarring or sudden, contributing to the rich acoustic environment that surrounds your peaceful rest like an invisible blanket of sound. The patterns are random but not chaotic, varied but not unpredictable, complex but not overwhelming. It's music that has been composed by nature itself, performed by the rain and the forest working together in perfect harmony. Inside your sleeping bag, your body temperature has found its perfect equilibrium, that ideal state where you're neither warm nor cool but simply comfortable, existing in a thermal environment so perfectly suited to your needs that you're not conscious of temperature at all. Your core maintains its optimal warmth while your extremities remain cozy and relaxed. The sleeping bag's insulation working automatically to distribute heat where it's needed while allowing excess warmth to dissipate from areas that might otherwise become uncomfortable. The synthetic fill of the sleeping bag seems to breathe with you, expanding and contracting slightly with each inhalation and exhalation, creating a gentle, almost imperceptible massage that enhances your sense of being held and supported. The bag's design accommodates your body's natural movements while maintaining optimal thermal efficiency, adjusting to your changing position and posture while continuing to provide perfect comfort throughout the night. The insulation responds to your body's changing needs throughout the night, providing more warmth when your metabolism slows during deep sleep. less when your body temperature naturally rises during dream phases, creating a custom environment that supports your body's natural sleep cycles without any conscious adjustment or awareness on your part. The darkness outside has become complete, but it's a friendly darkness, softened by the rain and made intimate by the tent's gentle boundaries. You can no longer see the individual trees or the details of the forest floor, but you can sense them there, standing quietly in the rain, patient and strong, creating a protective circle around your small shelter like silent guardians watching over your rest. The darkness feels inhabited and alive, full of the quiet presence of growing things, of roots reaching deep into the earth to anchor these ancient trees, of branches reaching toward the rain-filled sky in gestures of gratitude and acceptance. The darkness is not empty but full of life, full of peace, full of the ancient wisdom of the forest that has learned over countless seasons how to rest, how to be still, how to find perfect peace in the rhythm of natural cycles. This is darkness as comfort rather than threat, darkness as the natural prelude to sleep rather than something to be feared or fought against. The blackness that surrounds your tent is soft and welcoming, like being wrapped in the gentlest blanket, providing the visual quiet that allows your mind to turn inward and begin the mysterious processes that lead to rest and dreams and restoration. The transition into this complete darkness happened so gradually that you weren't really aware of it occurring. There was no sudden moment when the last light disappeared, no sharp boundary between visibility and blindness. Instead, the visual world simply faded away like music being slowly turned down, allowing your other senses to become more prominent and more sensitive to the subtleties that make up the forest's nighttime environment. Your mind has begun to let go of the day's concerns one by one, releasing them like balloons floating away into the night sky. The rain seems to be washing away not just the dust from the forest leaves, but any lingering worries or tensions you might have carried with you into this peaceful place. Each drop that strikes the tent carries away some small stress, some unnecessary thought, some piece of mental debris that has no place in this sanctuary of peace and rest. The constant, gentle sound of the rain creates a natural white noise that allows your brain to release its grip on the mental chatter that often keeps sleep at bay during normal nights. The endless internal dialogue that characterizes so much of modern life, the planning and worrying and analyzing that can make sleep elusive, simply dissolves under the rain's patient persistence, replaced by a deep sense of peace and belonging that comes from being perfectly aligned with the natural world. Each thought that arises is gently washed away by the rain's rhythm before it can take root and grow into worry or concern. Your mind becomes like the forest itself, peaceful, patient, accepting whatever comes without resistance or struggle, allowing thoughts and sensations to flow through without clinging to them or being disturbed by them. The sleeping bag's zipper rests quietly beside you, its teeth interlocked in perfect seal, creating a barrier against any drafts while remaining easily accessible if you need to adjust your position during the night. The zipper's design ensures smooth operation even in difficult conditions, its weather-resistant construction keeping moisture out while maintaining the easy functionality that allows you to modify your thermal environment if needed. The tent's zippers are equally secure and still, their weather-resistant construction keeping the elements out while maintaining easy operation should you need to access the outside world. All the small mechanical elements of your shelter have settled into silence, doing their work without calling attention to themselves, performing their functions so well that they become invisible, allowing you to focus on the experience they make possible rather than the technology that enables it. Everything is as it should be. Everything is secure and comfortable and perfectly arranged for the deep, restorative sleep that awaits. The tent sky lines hold steady in the gentle breeze, properly tensioned to maintain the structure's stability without being so tight as to create stress points that might fail under load. The stakes remain firm in the earth, driven deep into soil that has accepted them like old friends returning to a familiar place. Every component of your temporary home performs its function silently and efficiently, working together as an integrated system to create a seamless environment of comfort and security. The tent becomes more than the sum of its parts, transforming from a collection of fabric and hardware into a true home away from home, a sanctuary that protects without isolating, that shelters without separating you from the natural world that surrounds and embraces it. The rain song has become a lullaby now, each drop a note and a melody that seems written specifically for this moment, for this forest, for this tent, for your peaceful rest. The sound has layers within layers, the immediate patter on your tent providing the steady rhythm that anchors all the other sounds, the softer sounds of rain on leaves adding melody and harmony. The gentle percussion of drops hitting the forest floor creating bass notes that ground the entire composition. The whisper of water beginning to move through the woods in tiny streams and rivulets adds flowing melodies that weave through the percussion, while the occasional larger drops falling from high branches provide syncopated accents that keep the rhythm interesting without making it unpredictable. The composition is complex but never chaotic, soothing but never monotonous, varied but never jarring. It's as if the entire forest has become a musical instrument, played by the rain with infinite skill and patience. This is music that has been performed in forests around the world for millions of years, a composition that predates human civilization and will continue long after our cities have returned to dust. Tonight, you're privileged to be part of the audience for this ancient performance, this timeless symphony that connects you to the deepest rhythms of the natural world. Your pillow has molded itself to the perfect shape for your head, the fill having redistributed itself in response to your weight and position to create exactly the contours your neck and skull require for optimal comfort and proper spinal alignment. The fabric of the pillowcase is soft against your cheek, worn smooth by countless washings until it feels like silk against your skin, familiar and comforting in the way that only well-loved gear can be. The pillow carries the faint, comforting scent of home, your own laundry detergent mixed with the subtle fragrance of your bedroom, familiar smells that speak of safety and routine and the comfortable places where you rest each night. But now those domestic fragrances are married to something wilder and more exciting, the clean smell of the forest air that has found its way into the fabric, creating a perfect blend of familiar and exotic that makes you feel both at home and on an adventure. This combination of familiar and natural creates a perfect sense of comfort and belonging, of being safe in your own space while being embraced by the wilderness. The pillow supports not just your head but your sense of security, providing the familiar comfort that allows your mind to release its vigilance and settle into the trust that sleep requires. The air pressure inside the tent feels just right. Not too close or confined, not too open or exposed, but perfectly balanced to create a sense of gentle enclosure that enhances rather than restricts your sense of space. The tent's ventilation system works quietly and efficiently, bringing in fresh air while maintaining the ideal humidity and temperature, creating an atmosphere that feels both protected and alive. Each breath brings in fresh, rain-washed air that tastes of pine and earth and the kind of purity that can only be found in wild places far from the complications of daily life. The air seems to carry healing properties beyond mere oxygen. Negative ions created by the moving water and the friction of wind through trees, trace elements from the soil and the growing plants. Perhaps even some of the essential oils released by the forest's countless aromatic plants. Each inhalation brings calm and peace. Each exhalation releases tension and worry. Each breath a small exchange with the natural world that surrounds and embraces your small sanctuary. The air you breathe connects you directly to the forest's metabolism, to the endless cycle of photosynthesis and respiration that keeps the whole ecosystem alive and thriving. Your muscles have released completely now, letting go of tensions you didn't even know you were carrying, dissolving knots and tight spots that may have been accumulating for days or weeks without your awareness. Your arms rest heavily and comfortably by your sides, the weight of them sinking into the sleeping bag's soft insulation, muscles relaxed and loose in the gesture of complete surrender to rest. Your legs are completely relaxed in the sleeping bag's spacious interior, your thigh muscles soft and heavy, your calves loose and still, your feet pointing naturally outward in the posture of complete rest. The large muscle groups that work so hard during your waking hours to move you through the world have finally received permission to stop working, to simply exist in stillness and comfort. Your back has settled into perfect alignment against the sleeping pad, the slight curve of your spine supported without strain, every vertebra resting in its natural position. The pad's design distributes your weight evenly while providing support exactly where your body needs it, eliminating pressure points while maintaining the proper spinal alignment that prevents stiffness and soreness. There's no tension anywhere in your body. No need to shift or adjust or find a better position. You've found the perfect spot, the perfect posture, the perfect balance of comfort and support, and your body has gratefully accepted this gift of complete relaxation. Every system in your body is shifting into its nighttime mode, circulation slowing to its resting rate, digestion working quietly to process the day's nutrition, immune system ramping up its healing and regenerative processes. The forest's nighttime sounds have woven themselves into a seamless soundscape that promotes rather than disturbs rest, each element finding its proper place in the larger symphony without competing or conflicting with the others. The rain continues its gentle work, providing the steady rhythm that anchors all the other sounds, while the forest's living voices add melody and harmony and texture to create a natural composition of breathtaking beauty and perfect tranquility. These sounds don't demand attention or analysis. They simply exist as a peaceful backdrop that tells you all is well, all is natural, all is exactly as it should be in this ancient place. The acoustic environment wraps around you like an invisible blanket, protecting your rest from any harsh or sudden sounds that might disturb your sleep, while providing the gentle stimulation that keeps your nervous system calm and relaxed. Sleep is very close now, approaching with the same gentle inevitability as the rain that started this evening's symphony. Your consciousness is becoming softer, more diffuse, like mist rising from warm earth after a summer shower. Thoughts come and go like gentle breezes, never staying long enough to disturb the deep peace that has settled over your body and mind like morning dew on meadow grass. The boundary between waking and sleeping is becoming blurred, as natural and gradual as the transition from day to night, as inevitable as the rain's patient persistence. There's no struggle or effort involved in this transition. Sleep approaches like a trusted friend, welcomed and embraced rather than fought or feared. Your mind is releasing its grip on the need to think, to analyze, to remain alert and vigilant. In this safe and peaceful place, surrounded by the forest's protective embrace, there's no need for the mental activity that characterizes your waking hours. Instead, your consciousness is free to drift into the wordless peace that precedes sleep, the quiet space where dreams are born and the body's healing work begins. The tent around you feels more like a natural extension of your body than a manufactured shelter, so perfectly does it serve your needs and complement your comfort. It breathes with you, moves gently with the forest's rhythms, provides protection without creating separation from the natural world beyond its thin walls. You're part of the forest tonight, connected to its rhythms and cycles, included in its peaceful nighttime ritual of rest and renewal. The shelter enhances rather than diminishes your connection to the natural world around you, serving as a bridge between your human needs and the forest's wild embrace. The tent becomes invisible in the way that perfect tools do, present and protective but not intrusive, doing its work so well that you forget it's there, allowing you to focus on the experience it makes possible rather than the technology that enables it. The rain continues to fall with perfect consistency, each drop adding its voice to the forest's evening song with the patience and persistence that only nature can maintain. There's no urgency in this rain, no violence or haste, no sense that it needs to be anywhere other than exactly where it is. It falls because it's time to fall, because the earth is ready to receive it, because the balance of the natural world calls for this gentle giving and receiving between sky and soil. The rain carries no agenda beyond nourishment and renewal, no purpose beyond the simple, essential act of giving life to the earth. Its generosity is boundless, its patience infinite, its gift freely given to every plant, every tree, every creature in the forest without preference or prejudice. The rain connects you to the larger cycles of nature, to the endless circulation of water from sea to sky to earth and back again, making you part of something vast and eternal and beautiful. Each drop that falls tonight will eventually find its way back to the sea, perhaps in days or weeks or months, carrying with it some small part of this forest, some trace of the soil and the leaves and the life it has touched along the way. The water that lands on your tent will join the water flowing through the forest streams, then into larger rivers, then eventually back to the ocean where it will evaporate and begin the cycle again, perhaps returning to this very forest in some future rain years from now. Your breathing has become so natural, so perfectly matched to the forest's own rhythms, that you're no longer aware of any boundary between yourself and the peaceful world around you. You breathe in the forest's gifts. Clean air, the scent of rain and pine, the essence of growing things drinking deeply of the evening's moisture. You breathe out any remaining tension, any unnecessary thoughts, any barriers between yourself and perfect rest. The exchange feels like a conversation with the forest itself, a gentle dialogue conducted through breath and scent and sound, a communion that transcends words and enters the realm of pure experience. Your respiratory system has synchronized with the natural world's rhythms, finding in them a perfect pattern for the kind of deep, slow breathing that promotes the most restorative sleep. Each breath connects you more deeply to the life force that flows through all living things, the invisible energy that connects plant and animal, earth and sky, rain and forest in an intricate web of mutual dependence and support. You become part of this web tonight, contributing your own small presence to the forest's larger life while drawing from its accumulated wisdom and peace. The sleeping bag surrounds you like a warm embrace from someone who knows exactly what you need, maintaining the perfect temperature for your body's transition into sleep. The synthetic materials have become as comfortable as the softest natural fibers, molding to your shape and maintaining their insulating properties without any sense of artificiality or discomfort. Everything feels organic, natural, right? The bag's design allows for natural movement during sleep while maintaining warmth and comfort throughout the night, creating a portable sanctuary that travels with you wherever you go but feels as permanent and secure as the most comfortable bed. The insulation works its quiet magic, responding to your body's changing needs throughout the night without any conscious adjustment on your part. The bag becomes like a second skin, so perfectly suited to your needs that you're not conscious of wearing it at all. Instead, it simply provides the perfect thermal environment that allows your body to focus on the important work of rest and restoration rather than the basic task of temperature regulation. Inside the tent, the air has reached perfect humidity and temperature, that ideal balance that makes breathing a pleasure rather than a necessity. It's fresh and clean but not cold, moist from the rain but not damp, alive with the forest's essence but not overwhelming in its intensity. Each breath is satisfying in a way that makes you grateful for the simple, essential act of breathing, for the forest's gift of clean air, for the rain's contribution to the evening's perfect atmosphere. The air quality here surpasses anything you breathe in daily life, pure and revitalizing in ways that promote deep, restorative sleep. Each inhalation brings healing, each exhalation brings release, each breath a small celebration of being alive in this beautiful place at this perfect moment. The air carries the forest's blessing, its gift of life and peace and renewal. The atmosphere inside your shelter has become a perfect microclimate for sleep, everything balanced and harmonized to support your body's natural rhythms and needs. Temperature, humidity, air circulation, sound levels, everything working together to create the ideal environment for the deepest possible rest. The rain's rhythm has become your rhythm now, so perfectly synchronized that you can no longer tell where the forest's music ends and your own life force begins. Your heart beats in time with the gentle percussion on the tent roof, finding its perfect pace and harmony with the rain's patient persistence. Your breath flows in harmony with the sound of water moving through the forest, each inhalation and exhalation timed to the natural cycles that govern all life. Your mind moves at the same peaceful pace as the raindrops sliding down through the branches and leaves above, no longer rushing or hurrying, but content to flow at the speed of peace, at the tempo of natural time that has no clocks or schedules or deadlines. You've become part of the forest's evening symphony, another instrument in its gentle orchestra, your presence adding to rather than disrupting the natural harmony of this place. This synchronization represents more than mere coincidence. It's your body's innate wisdom recognizing the healing power of natural rhythms and automatically adjusting to match them. Your nervous system, evolved over millions of years in natural environments like this one, remembers how to find peace in the forest's embrace, how to let go of the artificial urgencies of modern life and sink into the deeper rhythms that govern all living things. The tent floor beneath you provides perfect support, engineered to provide exactly the right balance of firmness and give to support your body's natural alignment throughout the night. Not too hard, which would create pressure points and disturb your circulation, not too soft, which would allow your spine to curve unnaturally and create stiffness, but exactly the right balance to keep your body in perfect alignment while providing the cushioning necessary for comfort. Your sleeping bag spreads your weight evenly across the pad's surface, eliminating any pressure points that might disturb your rest or interfere with healthy circulation. The sleeping pad underneath adds just the right amount of cushioning, its design creating a sleeping surface that rivals the most comfortable bed while remaining compact and portable enough to carry into the wilderness. Every element of your small shelter works together to create the ideal environment for peaceful sleep, each component designed and positioned to maximize your comfort and promote the deepest possible rest. The system becomes more than the sum of its parts, transforming from a collection of gear into a true sanctuary of comfort and peace. The darkness outside is complete now, but it doesn't feel empty or void or threatening in any way. It feels full of the forest's quiet presence, rich with the gentle sounds and scents and movements of the woods settling into night. The rain continues to add its voice to this nighttime symphony, each drop a gift to the listening earth, each sound a note in the lullaby that's carrying you toward sleep. The darkness is alive with growing things, with the patient breathing of trees whose roots reach deep into the earth and whose branches reach toward the stars. It's alive with the subtle movements of nocturnal creatures going about their quiet business, with the slow processes of growth and renewal that continue even while the forest rests. This living darkness embraces rather than threatens, welcomes rather than excludes, creating a sense of being held by something vast and ancient and benevolent. The night becomes a comfort rather than a fear, a gentle presence that watches over your sleep and keeps you safe until morning returns to the forest. Your mind has let go of the need to track time or make plans or solve problems, releasing these daytime concerns like leaves falling from a tree in autumn. In this peaceful moment, there's nothing to figure out, nothing to accomplish, nothing to worry about or analyze or improve. There's only the gentle rain, the warm sleeping bag, the soft darkness, and the perfect comfort of being exactly where you are, exactly when you are, in perfect harmony with the natural world around you. Time has become irrelevant, measured only by the rhythm of the rain and the gentle progression towards sleep. Minutes could be hours, hours could be minutes. It doesn't matter because you've entered a timeless space where only the present moment exists. What matters is this breath, this heartbeat, this perfect peace that surrounds and fills you like warm water, supporting you completely while asking nothing in return. The forest smells have become part of your breathing now, as natural and necessary as oxygen itself. The scent of wet pine bark, rain-washed leaves, damp earth, and growing moss fills your lungs with each inhalation, connecting you directly to the life force of the woods. These fragrances carry stories of seasons and years, of rain and sunshine, of the endless cycle of growth and rest that governs all living things. Each breath brings you deeper into communion with the forest's ancient wisdom, the accumulated knowledge of countless seasons, the deep understanding that comes from being rooted in one place and watching the world change around you while remaining constant and strong. The scents are like messages from the earth itself, telling you that you belong here, that you are welcome, that you are part of something larger and more beautiful than you could ever imagine. These natural aromatics work on levels deeper than conscious perception, triggering responses in your nervous system that promote relaxation, reduce stress hormones, and prepare your body for the deepest possible sleep. The forest's own essential oils, dispersed through the air by rain and wind, create a natural aromatherapy treatment that money cannot buy and technology cannot replicate. Your body has found its perfect position for sleep, every muscle relaxed, every joint comfortable, every part of you settled into the ideal posture for rest and restoration. The sleeping bag's warmth penetrates deeply into your muscles, releasing any lingering tension and replacing it with a profound sense of comfort and ease. You feel held, supported, perfectly cradled for the night's journey into dreams and healing. Your body trusts this environment completely, allowing itself to release into the deep relaxation that precedes restorative sleep. Every system in your body is shifting into its nighttime mode, your heart rate slowing to its resting pace, your breathing deepening and slowing, your muscles relaxing completely. Your mind releasing its grip on consciousness and preparing for the mysterious processes that happen during sleep. This is the kind of complete relaxation that's rare in modern life, the total surrender to rest that comes only when you feel completely safe and supported. Your body recognizes this ancient environment, remembers in its cells the peace that comes from sleeping under the stars, surrounded by the forest's protective embrace. The rain shows no signs of stopping, and this brings only comfort, never concern. This is the kind of rain that might last all night, creating a consistent backdrop of gentle sound that will cradle your sleep from now until morning light begins to filter through the forest canopy. There's something deeply satisfying about the rain's reliability, its steady presence that asks nothing from you, but offers everything in return: music, fragrance, the promise of a night filled with peaceful sound. The rain's constancy provides a sense of security and continuity, a reliable companion that will watch over your sleep, ensuring that you rest in perfect peace until dawn returns to the forest. The sound creates a natural barrier against any disturbances, a curtain of gentle noise that protects your rest from any sudden sounds that might otherwise interrupt your sleep. This rain connects you to countless other nights when humans have slept peacefully in the forest, protected by nothing more than simple shelter and the forest's own benevolent presence. You become part of an ancient tradition, a timeless experience that connects you to the deepest roots of human experience. The woods around you seem to breathe with the rain, each tree and plant responding to the moisture in its own unique way, contributing to the forest's larger respiratory system. Some leaves cup the water, holding it like precious gems before releasing it in perfect droplets that catch what little light remains and sparkle like tiny stars. Others let the rain flow freely along their surfaces, creating tiny rivers that wind down bark and stem toward the earth below, following paths carved by countless previous drops. The forest floor accepts it all with infinite patience and wisdom, the rich earth drinking deeply, the fallen leaves creating a soft carpet that muffles the rain's impact into the gentlest whispers. Every surface in the forest becomes part of the rain's symphony, each one contributing its own unique voice to the evening's perfect song, creating a natural concert hall where every seat offers the perfect acoustic experience. The forest's ability to receive and use the rain speaks to the wisdom of natural systems, the elegant efficiency with which the ecosystem captures and distributes this precious resource. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost. Every drop serves the larger community of plants and animals that call this forest home. You can feel the forest's ancient wisdom surrounding your tent like an invisible embrace, the accumulated peace of countless quiet nights like this one stretching back through centuries and millennia. These trees have stood through thousands of rainstorms, have sheltered countless creatures, have watched seasons turn and years pass with the patient grace that only comes from deep-rootedness. They have witnessed the birth and death of generations of forest creatures, have provided shelter and sustenance for countless lives, have learned the deep secrets of patience and endurance and quiet strength. Tonight, they extend that same protection to you, creating a circle of safety around your small shelter, their presence both protective and nurturing. Being in their presence is like being held in the arms of benevolent giants who have seen everything the natural world can offer and found it good. Their ancient wisdom seeps into your consciousness, teaching lessons about patience and acceptance and the value of simply being present in each moment without rushing towards some imagined future or clinging to some remembered past. The tent's fabric moves almost imperceptibly with each gust of wind, but never in a way that feels unstable or concerning. It's more like the gentle breathing of something alive, expanding and contracting with the forest's own rhythms. The rain continues to drum its gentle song against the taut surface, each drop creating a tiny percussion that adds to the evening's peaceful composition. The tent's design works in perfect harmony with the natural elements, neither fighting nor surrendering to them, but dancing gently with wind and rain in a partnership that transforms potential conflict into graceful cooperation. The fabric is just thin enough to allow you to feel connected to the outside world, just strong enough to provide complete protection, just flexible enough to move with the wind without creating any sense of instability. This harmony between technology and nature represents the best of human innovation. Tools that work with natural forces rather than against them. Designs that enhance rather than diminish our connection to the natural world. Your shelter becomes a bridge between civilization and wilderness, allowing you to experience the forest's peace while remaining comfortable and protected. Your sleeping bag has warmed to exactly your body temperature, creating a seamless cocoon of comfort that makes it difficult to tell where your body ends and the bag begins. The insulation works its quiet magic, trapping your body heat close while allowing just enough airflow to prevent overheating. The fabric against your skin is soft and smooth, worn to perfect comfort by use and care, broken in just enough to eliminate any stiffness or roughness. The bag seems to anticipate your body's needs, providing warmth where you need it most while allowing heat to dissipate from areas that might otherwise become uncomfortable. The temperature regulation is so perfect that you're not conscious of it at all. Your body simply exists in perfect thermal comfort, free to focus on the more important business of rest and restoration. The bag's design accommodates every aspect of healthy sleep: proper spinal alignment, freedom of movement, optimal temperature regulation, moisture management. It becomes like a portable bedroom, carrying with it all the comforts of home while adapting to the unique requirements of wilderness camping. The pillow beneath your head has compressed to exactly the right firmness, supporting your neck and head in perfect alignment while providing the softness necessary for comfort. Your spine feels straight and natural, free from any tension or awkward positioning that might cause stiffness or soreness. Your hips and shoulders have found their natural resting positions, and your arms lie comfortably at your sides, hands relaxed and open in a gesture of complete trust and surrender. The sleeping surface beneath you is molded slightly to accommodate your body's unique contours, creating a custom sleeping space that seems designed specifically for your comfort. Every pressure point has been eliminated, every potential source of discomfort addressed, leaving you free to sink into the deepest possible rest without any physical distractions. This perfect physical comfort allows your mind to release its vigilance, to trust that your body is safe and supported and free to engage in the deep restorative processes that happen during sleep. When physical comfort is this complete, this seamless, the mind no longer needs to monitor the body's condition or make adjustments for comfort. Instead, it can turn inward and begin the journey toward the mysterious realm of dreams and restoration. The air inside the tent carries the most subtle fragrances of the forest, not overwhelming or heavy, but delicate and clean and infinitely complex. There's the green scent of growing things actively engaged in the processes of life, the earthy smell of rich soil that has been enriched by countless seasons of falling leaves and decomposing organic matter, the clean fragrance of rain-washed air that has been filtered through miles of pristine wilderness. These natural perfumes seem to promote rest at the cellular level, to calm the mind and prepare the body for sleep in ways that go beyond conscious awareness. The scents are complex and ever-changing, sometimes emphasizing the sweetness of night-blooming flowers that open their petals to catch the rain, sometimes the richness of decomposing leaves that are returning their nutrients to the soil, sometimes the freshness of moving water from streams and rivulets that drain the forest's higher elevations. Each breath brings a slightly different combination of fragrances, creating an olfactory symphony that matches the acoustic one being played by the rain and wind and forest creatures. The constantly changing but always harmonious blend of scents keeps your senses gently engaged without overstimulating them, providing just enough sensory input to feel connected to the living world around you while remaining subtle enough not to interfere with your body's transition towards sleep. Outside your tent, the rain continues its patient work with the dedication and persistence that only nature can maintain. Each drop carries out its small but essential task of washing the dust from every leaf, filling the forest's natural reservoirs, providing the moisture that keeps this ecosystem thriving and healthy and vibrant. The rain asks nothing but gives everything, cleansing, nourishing, singing the earth to sleep with its gentle percussion. The rain's generosity is boundless, its patience infinite, its gift freely given to every plant, every tree, every creature in the forest without preference or prejudice or expectation of return. The rain connects you to the larger cycles of nature, to the endless circulation of water from sea to sky to earth and back again, making you part of something vast and eternal and beautiful that transcends individual existence and connects all life, in an intricate web of mutual dependence. Each drop that falls tonight has its own unique story, its own journey from evaporation through condensation to precipitation, its own path through the forest canopy to your tent or the forest floor. Some drops will nourish the roots of ancient trees. Others will fill the tiny reservoirs that sustain insects and small creatures. Still others will join the streams that carry life and nutrients throughout the forest ecosystem. Your breath has found its perfect rhythm, slow and deep and natural, each inhalation and exhalation time to the forest's own breathing, to the natural cycles that govern all life on Earth. Each inhalation brings in the forest's gifts, clean air enriched by its passage through millions of leaves, oxygen that has been purified by contact with growing things, the invisible essences that promote health and peace and restoration. Each exhalation releases any remaining tension or worry, any trace of the stress or anxiety that might interfere with your body's natural healing processes. The oxygen seems purer here in the forest, cleaner and more satisfying than any air you've breathed in civilized places. It fills your lungs completely, nourishing every cell in your body, supporting the gentle transition from wakefulness to sleep. Each breath is a small celebration of life, of being alive in this beautiful place at this perfect moment, of having found this sanctuary of peace in a world that too often forgets the value of stillness and quiet and connection to the natural world. The air you breathe connects you directly to the forest's metabolism, to the endless cycle of photosynthesis and respiration that keeps the whole ecosystem alive and thriving. The tent around you has become invisible in the way that perfect shelter should, present and protective but not intrusive, doing its work silently and efficiently without calling attention to itself. The zippers remain still and secure, their teeth interlocked in perfect seal against the elements, their weather-resistant construction keeping moisture out while maintaining the easy functionality that allows you to modify your environment if needed. The stakes hold firm in the earth, driven deep into soil that has accepted them like old friends returning to a familiar place after a long absence. The rainfly sheds water exactly as designed, keeping your inner sanctuary dry while allowing the rain's music to reach your ears without interference or distortion. Every element of your temporary home performs its function without calling attention to itself, creating a seamless bubble of comfort in the wild that feels as secure and welcoming as the most comfortable bedroom. The tent becomes more than mere shelter. It becomes a portal between worlds, allowing you to experience the forest wildness while remaining safe and comfortable, connecting you to the natural world while protecting you from its harsher elements. It serves as a bridge between civilization and wilderness, between the human need for comfort and the soul's need for connection to something larger and more ancient than daily life. Sleep is approaching now like a gentle tide, washing over you in waves of increasing drowsiness that feel as natural and inevitable as the ocean's rhythm. Your thoughts become softer, less defined, more like fragments of dreams than conscious considerations. The day's concerns fade into irrelevance, replaced by a profound sense of peace and contentment that seems to rise from the forest floor itself, from the accumulated wisdom of this ancient place. Your mind releases its grip on analysis and planning, allowing itself to drift into the wordless peace that precedes sleep, the quiet space where dreams are born and the mysterious processes of restoration begin. Consciousness becomes more fluid, less focused on specific thoughts or problems, more open to the healing rhythms that flow through all living things. The transition from waking to sleeping happens so gradually that you're not really aware of when one state ends and the other begins. There's no moment of sudden change, no sharp boundary between consciousness and sleep. Instead, awareness simply fades like daylight at the end of day, so slowly and naturally that the change is imperceptible until you realize you're no longer quite awake, no longer quite asleep, but floating in that peaceful liminal space between the two. The forest's nighttime chorus has reached its full complexity now, a symphony of gentle sounds that promotes rather than prevents rest. The rain provides the steady rhythm that anchors all the other sounds, while the forest's living voices add melody and harmony and texture to create a natural composition of breathtaking beauty and perfect tranquility. The soft creak of branches settling into their nighttime positions adds percussion to the rain's rhythm, each small sound a tiny adjustment as the wood responds to the changing temperature and moisture levels that come with evening. The whisper of leaves brushing against each other in the gentle breeze creates a subtle susurrus that speaks of life and growth and the patient processes that keep the forest healthy. The distant murmur of water finding its way through natural channels grows richer as more rain joins the streams and rivulets, adding bass notes to the forest's evening song. Occasionally, the soft plop of a large drop falling from a high branch provides syncopated accents that keep the rhythm interesting without making it unpredictable. Sometimes there's the gentle rustle of small creatures moving through the underbrush, going about their nocturnal business with the quiet efficiency that characterizes healthy forest ecosystems. These sounds don't disturb the peace, but rather enhance it, reminding you that you're part of a living system, connected to a larger community of creatures, all finding their own ways to thrive in this beautiful place. Each sound adds its voice to the forest's lullaby without overwhelming or competing with the others, creating an acoustic environment that wraps around you like an invisible blanket of comfort and security. The symphony is complex but never chaotic, varied but never jarring, alive but never overwhelming. It's the sound of a healthy ecosystem going about its essential business, the audio signature of a place where all the parts work together in harmony and balance. Your body temperature has stabilized at the perfect level for sleep, that ideal state where your body requires no energy to maintain comfort, where temperature regulation happens automatically without any conscious awareness or effort. The sleeping bag maintains its even warmth, creating a consistent climate that allows your body's natural temperature control systems to work without strain or effort. Your face stays comfortably cool in the fresh air flowing through the tent's ventilation system, providing the ideal contrast to the warmth that surrounds the rest of your body. This temperature differential is perfect for promoting the deepest possible sleep. Cool air for your respiratory system and the sensitive skin of your face, warm comfort for your core and extremities. There's no need to adjust or fidget or seek greater comfort. You found it completely and perfectly, your body accepting this gift of ideal thermal conditions and using it to transition into the deep, restorative sleep that allows for healing and renewal. Your body's natural temperature regulation works in harmony with the sleeping bag's design to maintain perfect comfort throughout the night, adjusting automatically to your changing needs as you move through different stages of sleep. The rain continues to fall in its measured cadence, each drop following the same basic path from cloud to earth, but creating its own unique sound as it strikes leaf or bark or tent fabric. The forest receives it all with the same patient acceptance it has shown for countless seasons, each plant and tree using the moisture according to its own needs, all of them together creating the web of life that makes this place so alive and peaceful and sustaining. The rain is both gift and necessity, pleasure and sustenance, music and nourishment. It connects every living thing in the forest, providing the moisture that allows life to flourish, the rhythm that helps all creatures find their place in the larger harmony of the natural world. The rain's reliability, its patient persistence, its gentle generosity create a sense of security and continuity that allows everything in the forest to rest deeply and completely. Each drop carries within it the potential for new life, new growth, new possibilities. The water that falls tonight will nourish seeds that will become tomorrow's plants, will feed roots that will grow into future trees, will sustain the countless small creatures that make the forest their home. The rain connects past and future, carrying forward the forest's legacy while creating the conditions for continued growth and renewal. Your mind has entered that drowsy state where thoughts drift like clouds across a vast sky, forming and dissolving without effort or intention, without the need to analyze or understand or remember. You're aware of the rain, of the warmth, of the perfect comfort of your position, but these sensations exist in a soft, dreamlike space where they enhance rather than demand attention. The forest's peace has become your peace, its rhythm your rhythm, its ancient patience your temporary gift. The accumulated wisdom of this place, its deep understanding of how to rest and be still, flows into your consciousness like water soaking into thirsty earth. You become part of the forest's dream, and the forest becomes part of yours, creating a communion that transcends the ordinary boundaries between self and world. The boundary between yourself and the natural world around you has become permeable, allowing you to feel truly part of something larger and more beautiful than individual existence. Your consciousness expands to include the trees standing guard around your tent, the small creatures moving quietly through the underbrush, the rain falling with infinite patience and generosity, the earth receiving it all with grateful acceptance. The tent's interior has reached perfect equilibrium. The right temperature, the right humidity, the right balance of enclosure and openness that creates a sense of being safely held while remaining connected to the larger world beyond. The fabric walls provide security without claustrophobia. The floor offers support without hardness. The ceiling curves overhead like a gentle dome of protection. Everything works together to create an ideal environment for rest, a space that feels both intimate and connected to something vast and eternal. The tent becomes a cocoon of comfort, a small sanctuary where you can rest in perfect peace while remaining part of the forest's larger community of living things. Outside your shelter, the forest continues its ancient ritual of renewal, accepting the rain's gift with the same graceful patience it has shown for millennia. The trees stand tall and strong, their roots drinking deeply from the moistened earth, their branches reaching toward the rain-heavy sky in gestures of gratitude and acceptance. The smaller plants spread their leaves to catch every precious drop, their cells swelling with the gift of moisture, their growth processes accelerated by the rain's nourishing touch. The forest floor softens and enriches, preparing to support new growth when the season turns, becoming more fertile and life-giving with each drop that falls. This process of renewal happens constantly in the forest, but rain accelerates and intensifies it, providing the extra moisture that allows all the forest's inhabitants to thrive rather than merely survive. The rain's gift extends far beyond simple hydration. It carries nutrients, it cleans the air, it supports the complex chemical processes that sustain life in all its myriad forms. Your breathing has become so automatic, so perfectly synchronized with the rain's rhythm, that you're no longer consciously aware of it happening. The air flows in and out of your lungs as naturally as the rain flows through the forest, both following the same ancient patterns of give and take, of accepting what's needed and releasing what's not. Your respiratory system has found its perfect pace, neither hurried nor labored, but flowing with the same ease as water finding its way downhill toward the sea. Each breath supports your body's transition into sleep, providing the oxygen your cells need while releasing the carbon dioxide that would otherwise accumulate and disturb your rest. The rhythm of your breathing becomes part of the forest's larger respiratory system, part of the endless exchange between plant and animal, oxygen and carbon dioxide, that keeps the whole ecosystem alive and healthy. You become part of the forest's breathing, and the forest becomes part of yours, creating a connection that goes beyond mere proximity to touch something deeper and more essential. The sleeping bag around you has become like a second skin, warm and protective but not restrictive, allowing complete freedom of movement while maintaining optimal thermal comfort. You can shift position if you need to, but there's no desire to move, no discomfort that requires adjustment. You've found the perfect position, the ideal balance of support and softness, and your body has settled into it completely. The bag's design accommodates your body's natural sleeping posture while maintaining optimal warmth distribution throughout the night. The insulation adjusts to your body's changing needs as you move through different stages of sleep, providing more warmth when your metabolism slows during deep sleep phases, less when your body temperature naturally rises during dream periods. This automatic adjustment happens without any conscious awareness on your part, allowing your body to focus on the important work of rest and restoration rather than the basic task of temperature regulation. The sleeping bag becomes invisible in the way that perfect tools do, so well suited to its purpose that you're not conscious of it at all, allowing you to focus on the experience it makes possible. The darkness outside is complete now, but it's a living darkness, full of the quiet activities of the night forest that continue even while the larger rhythms slow toward rest. The rain continues to fall, but it's no longer just weather. It's become part of the forest's metabolism, part of its breathing, part of its dreaming. You're included in this ancient process now, no longer separate from the natural world, but woven into its patterns and rhythms like a thread in an infinite tapestry. The darkness embraces rather than excludes, welcoming you into the forest's nighttime community of creatures, all finding their own ways to rest and renew themselves for another day of life and growth. This darkness is not the absence of light but the presence of peace, not emptiness but fullness, not void but the rich, living space where dreams are born and the soul finds its deepest rest. The darkness holds you gently, supporting your transition into sleep with the same patient care that it offers to every creature in the forest. Sleep is very close now, approaching with the same gentle inevitability as the rain that began this evening's perfect symphony. Your consciousness is becoming more fluid, more dreamlike, less concerned with the boundaries between self and world, between inner and outer, between human and nature. The forest peace has become your peace, its rhythms your rhythms, its ancient wisdom your temporary gift to carry forward into sleep and dreams, in the mysterious processes of restoration that happen when the conscious mind finally allows itself to rest. The transition from waking to sleeping is as natural as the transition from day to night, as gradual as the rain's gentle persistence, as inevitable as the turning of seasons. There's no struggle or effort involved in this transition. Sleep approaches like a trusted friend, welcomed and embraced rather than fought or feared. Your mind releases its grip on the need to remain alert and vigilant, trusting in the forest's protective embrace, in the tent's reliable shelter, in the sleeping bag's warm comfort, in the rain's gentle song that will continue throughout the night. The tent breathes around you with the forest rhythm. The sleeping bag holds you in perfect warmth and comfort. The pillow supports your head in ideal alignment. The rain continues its gentle percussion against the fabric overhead. The forest continues its quiet breathing all around you, and you continue your gentle descent into the deepest, most peaceful sleep. The sound of rain on leaves has become the soundtrack to your approaching dreams, each drop carrying you further into rest, deeper into the peaceful realm where body and mind can engage in their essential work of healing and renewal. The forest lullaby wraps around you like the softest blanket, warm and comforting and infinitely gentle. The rain continues through the night with patient dedication, washing the world clean and singing the forest to sleep with its ancient song. And you sleep too, deeply and peacefully, held safe in your small shelter, surrounded by the protective presence of ancient trees, cradled by the gentle music of water finding its way home to the earth. Your dreams, when they come, are filled with the sound of gentle rain, the scent of clean forest air, the feeling of being perfectly held by the natural world. In your dreams, you remain part of this peaceful scene. The rain continues to fall with infinite patience, the forest continues to breathe with ancient wisdom, and you continue to rest in perfect harmony with the natural world. The forest holds you through the night like a loving parent, patient and protective, asking nothing but offering everything. The rain's rhythm becomes your heartbeat, the forest's breathing becomes your breathing, and in this union with the natural world, you find the most restorative sleep possible, the kind of deep rest that heals not just the body but the soul. In your dreams, every drop of rain carries a message of peace, and every breath brings you deeper into the quiet joy of being exactly where you belong. The forest's ancient song becomes your song, its peace becomes your peace, its rhythm becomes your rhythm. You rest as deeply as the earth itself, as peacefully as the trees, as naturally as the rain that falls without effort, without concern, without end. The forest dreams with you, and you dream with the forest, and together you find perfect rest in the gentle embrace of this rainy night in the woods. Sleep deepens with each drop of rain, each breath, each moment of perfect peace in this timeless forest night where all boundaries dissolve and you become part of something infinitely larger and more beautiful than yourself. The world outside your tent is soft and safe and infinitely welcoming, and in this cocoon of warmth and comfort, you find the deepest rest, the most complete peace, the perfect end to this perfect day. The rain's lullaby continues through the hours of darkness, carrying you safely through the night toward the gentle light of morning, when you will wake refreshed and renewed, carrying with you forever the peace of this perfect night in the rain-blessed forest.